Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of Weird News and Wacky History, the look behind the scenes of what's been happening through the years. I'm your host, Pastor Roland Moss, the old history dude. Say, are you feeling adventurous today? Then pull on your spacesuit and let's go to the moon and back. Those were exciting days in the 1960s when the big three were engaged in the space race. You remember, the US, the Russians, and Zambia, all eager to be the first to walk on the moon. The space program was a Zambian priority right after national independence. Science teacher Edwin Makuka Colosso, the self-proclaimed director of the very unofficial National Academy of Science, Space Research, and Philosophy, recruited a team of 12 astronauts, as he called them, and began intense training in 1964. Using oil drums and ropes, they rolled down hills, spun around trees, and flew through the air to simulate weightlessness. They also practiced walking on their hands for navigating the moon's surface. In their off hours, the team wore natty matching green satin jackets and yellow trousers. And Colosso sought support of $20 million to $2 billion from many nations, including the U.S., Russia, and Israel, but received only well wishes. But he still planned to send 16-year-old Martha Mwambe, his so-called Afronauta girl, 2 cats, and a missionary to the moon in 1964 before continuing on to Mars. Sadly, things never got off the ground. Martha got pregnant, and the rest of the astronauts wandered off, got drunk, and never returned. Ah, those were the days. But the U.S. was facing its own challenges with getting into space. So you're NASA and you want to send a man to the moon. The spacesuit you'll need has to be flexible enough to wear for hours, yet durable enough to stand up to jagged lunar rocks. Plus, it needs to protect against solar radiation, and it needs to keep the astronaut cool when temperatures outside reach 250 degrees. Oh, and your suit also needs a self-contained atmosphere since the moon is airless. With those requirements, who are you going to call? International Latex Corporation, better known as ILC, was already making an early version of a spacesuit for the pilots of the ultra-high-speed X-15 rocket planes. ILC submitted a bid for the Mercury project, but were rejected. Undeterred, they began developing a prototype for the far more advanced Apollo moon landing suits. What ILC produced was the A7L, a multi-layered suit with detachable helmet, boots, gloves, and backpack capable of being put on by the astronaut. As a testament to its quality, there never were any glitches with this complex outfit. ILC gave the assembly of this critical unit to one of its most reliable subdivisions, Playtex. Yep, that's right. Playtex's bra seamstress department assembled the Apollo spacesuits that took NASA safely to the moon and back, with no uncomfortable straps. So, what if the space race had gone the other way? The US-USSR space race dominated the 1960s worldwide, but what if the Soviets had won? Russian files reveal very different plans for our lunar neighbor. The USSR announced their arrival at the party by detonating a nuclear device over Siberia in 1949. They then sprang into the lead by putting their first satellite into Earth orbit, the notorious Sputnik, the first to put both a male and female cosmonaut into space, and the first to crash a probe into the lunar surface in 1959. Plans were to land an unmanned craft on the moon by 1966. Then, after putting cosmonauts on the moon and planting their flag, they'd leave and detonate an atomic weapon as a going-away gift. The resultant flash would be visible from Earth, and the towering cloud of debris would linger in the low-gravity atmosphere as a lasting testimony of Russian superiority. Or not. This wacky plan, conceived of in 1958, failed to realize that the momentary flash of a detonation could easily be missed by Earthbound watchers. And no atmosphere likely meant no towering mushroom cloud either. Instead, in 1968, the Soviets sent turtles to orbit the moon, then returned them to Earth. One small step for reptiles, one giant leap for the moon. So whatever happened to those original recordings of the Apollo moon landing anyhow? Well, maybe you're like me and you were glued to your TV set when Neil Armstrong took that one small step for mankind onto the moon's surface on July 20th, 1969. History was being made right before our very eyes. Those images recorded by Apollo 11's slow-scan TV cameras were sent home and converted to standard TV signals and broadcast live around the world. Many of those edited low-quality recordings survive, grainy and with poor sound and video. But those original telemetry tapes with all the pristine raw footage as it was being transmitted, those are surely the crown jewels in NASA's quest to win the space race. No doubt housed in NASA's most secure vault, they've certainly been enhanced with digital technology to bring out every last detail of that historic mission. Not exactly. It seems that in the early 1980s, NASA launched Landsat, a long-term project to map the Earth's surface from outer space. There was a massive need for data tapes, so NASA recorded over the original moon landing tapes. The best surviving video that we currently have of the moon landing is a homemade Super 8 film taken of a live feed video monitor in Australia of the images as they arrive from the moon. Oops. And that's about all the time we have for this episode of Weird News and Wacky History, a look behind the scenes at what's been happening through the years. I'm your host, Pastor Roland Moss, author, historian, and speaker, wishing that all of your history may be just a bit weird.